somebody on that watches us knows what this is. He just has it on a much larger scale, and if you put it in his hand like this, it'd probably break it. His hand, I mean.
Hey, just as a reminder, this is a German tapping machine that we're currently restoring right now. And I think we showed it a few weeks ago, so this is just a reminder. Actually going to make a small minor change to the design. You'll notice that on the bearing nuts, there's these slots that are milled on each side. Okay, and these are for grabbing, like if you're using a spanner tool like this, you know, you can grab the nut like this and remove it. Okay, I prefer to actually have drilled holes.
Hey, hello, and welcome back to Shop Adventures 19. I'm Lance, that's Patrick back behind the camera. Happy New Year it has been, and I cannot wait to get us started this year. Before I start with the topics, let me just reiterate, you know, we did 18 videos. That was one per week for the last 18 weeks of the last year, and boy, are we glad we got to start. They always say it's never too late to start. Well, we were happy to be in this game, to say the least. As we already said in last week's video, we are committed to 52 weeks this year in videos, one every Monday evening, maybe Tuesday morning for you, where it depends on where you're located around the world. We're really happy to have you along. This week's topics, as far as the shop goes, Patrick did some really cool machining. He finally got those holders in, and he made some really neat bearing nuts. He explains all that to you. And I do some finite finishing on them. He explains why that's necessary and why we might have took it a little further than it needed to be. So we got that. I give you an update on the Levin Lathe accessories. We're just about Levin and leave them here. I'm about done with it. So I'm going to give you a final update. I think next thing you're going to see out of all that is just all of the different accessories it takes, as I've already, by that time, will have moved on to the two big Levin instrument lathe installations and assemblies, so the accessories will have something to run on. You'll like that. I was asked a question the other day from a friend that was by, and they asked us what color this is on this fine wall here. And as you know, this house is more machine shop than it is house. These are, you could never get away with this as a married man. This is a bachelor's joint. This is blue steel paint, right, Patrick?
That's right, we aren't kidding.
Yeah, we're really not. Just like we're not kidding, we really do have an airline that blows the dishes clean in the kitchen area. I don't know if you'd be allowed to have that either. So we get to, I guess as single guys, you get to bloat a little bit about something once in a while about how you can overthrow the house. Okay. So in addition to our 52-week videos, Patrick and I have been working on, and actually been filming some of this, just so you know. We're doing pullouts. We don't even have a name for them, or a thumbnail color. We know that Shop Adventures is going to remain blue. We know Shop Adventures is every Monday. What we're not sure of is the color of the thumbnail and the actual name of these, but they are going to fall under the educational category. They are in finite to death detail of how, in the first series is a 4-part or 5-part series, depends on how it washes out in matter of filming minutes, on how to correctly and properly build or rebuild the spindle of a Levin headstock. That's really complex, really sophisticated, and we wanted to break it out to leave a legacy of educational videos. So in addition to our regular weekly videos, there will just be this series. They'll take whatever time they take to do, and there'll be other series throughout the year. So we're going to commit to a heck of a lot of filming, but we really feel it's just that important because it just doesn't exist today on YouTube, and I really, we came here to add and be a contributor. And speaking of being a contributor and a YouTuber creators, Patrick and I are somewhat set back, somewhat a little surprised, little thankful, if you will. And I know you might even get tired of hearing this. I can't tell you from living in a little desert rural town that we've been doing this for decades, and we could have done this for another 2 decades and just died off, and everything we've done and never shared it. No one would ever even have heard about us. Parts we did for people were for them, not for us. We're doing this for us. We're doing it for you. We want to bring some of what our knowledge and our skills and share them with the future generations to come, well beyond Patrick and I's existence. And in all that, I never once really ever thought of something, how community this YouTube is. I mean, we got some great friends, our digital friends, our friends, and we know them a little bit through some emails and stuff. And I just never thought we'd be included in the community of YouTube producers. Mr. Pete, our great shop teacher, and boy, is he a great teacher. He's really good. In fact, he talked a lot about backlash in his recent videos, as I did today with 11 gears and stuff. And then we have Randy Richards up in R&R shop. He's just a really nice guy. These are just really nice family value guys. We just love them to death. They're very, very into family, very into community. I just want to tell you how thankful we are to be included. And we're just new. We're small. We're literally. We're not only small. YouTube channel, we make really small parts. Isn't that a coincidence? Maybe we ought to stay that way, huh, Patrick?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're, because of them and because of just a few shout outs and mentions to us, they've brought us a lot of viewers. So we realize some of you coming today didn't see video 1 through 18. You're just seeing video 19. We'd like to welcome you aboard. We're thankful to have you. We hope we bring you educational content with a little twist of entertainment that you'll enjoy. And just to make sure you understand, we're here to help, we're here to teach, we're here to share. It's a big community, we really enjoy it. So I just want to thank you all for being here. And let's get off to a great start this new year and have a great time, shall we? Because we're really enjoying what we do. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, we're in the machine shop, and Lance has an update on the Levin Accessories.
I do. Hi guys. Okay, here we go. I have 3 accessories left to do. I can't get through these last 3 accessories to save myself. we're not really in the machine refurbishing business, but after decades, of course, it needs to be done. There are 3 remaining. This is the 6th position Levin Turret. This is our most mechanical product that accessory that we have, attachment. It has a lot of mechanical parts. In fact, it has so many mechanical parts, Patrick took a photograph of it. And we typically do photograph our work so that we kind of know how to put things back together, even though we have the blueprints for everything. All of that fit on exactly 2 of these paper towels, pretty much. And what's really funny is we decided it looked so cool to have, and you think these parts are small, you ought to see the rest of them. It looks so good that he took a picture of it and he put it up on Instagram. So if you ever want to see eye candy of beautiful machinery and tools and stuff like that we've finished, because a lot of the stuff that, like Pat points out, right, we don't always put on film, right, Patrick?
Right, that's right.
So we take a lot of photographs, though, and so we do upload them to Instagram. So if you like machine tool eye candy, go visit our Instagram. There's a link below for that for you. Okay, this is the most mechanically adept part, so I'm doing it now. There's a radius gauge. Yes, it's precision, and that's fine. I'm doing it next. And then there's our most precision of all precision instruments of the accessories for the Levin. That is the micro drill press. The micro drill attachment. That spins counterclockwise to a clockwise situation of the spindle, the headstock spindle, which is very high tolerance. And like Patrick was pointing out, if it's just off a hair, when that drill comes, it's a goner. It's going to snap right out of there, right, Pat?
Right, because the drills we use on that attachment, the drill bits are so tiny. If it's not perfectly on center, as soon as that drill hits the workpiece, it's going to snap off instantly. Yeah,
cha-ching!
And those drill bits, those little things get expensive too.
Oh Lord! So we moved along. We stopped to refurbish these for 2 reasons, as you know. One, we're starting to make our own product. That mattered, so we wanted to make sure we do our best. 2, they're on YouTube. They're more eye candy, and we want them to look better than we do. Okay. That being said, we thought that we just were going to clean a lot of these attachments for the Levin, and everything would be fine, and they are for the most part. But we do, here's my bag of tools, parts already. He's got to get out of locations, and some have to come from Levin itself, which is not a cheap place to purchase from. There's these 2 bearings. Gears. These are my gears. And what's happened here is, okay, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to eliminate backlash, which is this has nothing to do with these 2. Backlash, we put new bearings in everything we do, no matter what they look like. It's just a cheap, low-cost way of mentioning that before. These, on the other hand, what we're looking for is we just always assumed it was just, a little bit dirty, but it didn't have the cleanliness it didn't have the smooth operation, it just the flow. It had a lot of, you know, Pat, you know how when we turn the handles and stuff, it's just pushy.
Right, it just seemed like it just wasn't smooth. Like
no glide, no.
Right, we just knew something was wrong.
So even this, which actually rotates this, which a little shout out to a friend of ours. Somebody on that watches us knows what this is. He just has it on a much larger scale, and if you put it in his hand like this, it'd probably break it. His hand, I mean. This is the turret of the turret. And Randy Richards up there, R&R in the shop there. He's got he's got one of these. That's where I've seen him run one. He makes a really neat scribe, and he uses this turret lathe of his to make it. And I think it's just awesome. So I liked it so much I bought one, and I'm really glad we did. But anyway, let me just share that. I just wanted to share that in there a little bit. So to get rid of backlash, yeah, new bearings and everything. We clean up everything. We tighten stuff. And get the flow going right. These gears, they're just, you know, they just chewed up too many chips over the years. The little finite microchips that end up in here from machining, they're just gone. Pat's going to upload, I believe, a picture of these pair, because we're going to have to add them to the Levin order list. And, you know, I'm like you guys are. I don't have $500 more to put into something like this, but sometimes to get things right, you know, and this can be an expensive set of gears. Just to kid yourself, just because they're small, they can be very expensive. But I have to do what we have to do. We're going to make it right, and we're going to. And then once you have this apart, let me tell you something. Wait till you see the picture on Instagram. You're not going to be in a hurry to want to take it apart again. It's a nice rebuild. It's going to be brand new, like factory. Okay. So anyway, I just want to bring you up to update on that. Patrick, am I missing anything? The only thing I have left here is just to do the final finishing on these 4 parts, these 4 pieces right here. I'm trying to decide what kind of cosmetic finish we want to put here. We're pretty good at cosmetic finishes. You do watch parts, you learn a lot about finishes. So we're just trying to decide what we're going to do. We're not sure what coarseness we want to put on and stuff. You'll see it when it's done. We'll do a final photograph of this accessory and all of our accessories in one little grouping so you can see all of them that go with the 2 Levin lathes, okay?
Right.
Is that everything, Patrick?
I think that covers everything.
I just want to give you guys this update. There won't be another update. What you're probably going to see with these is just the final lot of these accessories done. But what we do have to move on to, and which is really getting exciting to us, is moving on with the Levin instrument lathes. I think that's it, right, Patrick?
Right. We're going to finally mount those this
Let's get that over with. Let's get those built, and then these accessories will have something to run on, huh? Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, it's a nice day today. Let's check in with Patrick and see how he's coming along on the German tapping machine, shall we? Hi, Patrick.
Hello, guys. Okay, yeah, it's been a few weeks, so I thought I'd remind everybody where we're at on the German tapping machine. Okay, just as a reminder, this is a German tapping machine that we're currently restoring right now. And I think we showed it a few weeks ago, so this is just a reminder. And it's made by this company, Hagen Gobel.
There, I'm going to zoom in here so you can look that up for yourself. It's a great company, still in business today.
Yeah, well, we have the HG-2.
That's right.
Okay, and a few weeks ago, I disassembled this entire machine. And prior to the disassembly, I contacted the company, and they're really helpful. A man, can't remember his name, but he was really helpful. He's the one that provided this manual. And this is really amazing because we estimate our tapping machine to be at least 30, 40 years old. And the other thing he provided us was this diagram. It's a parts diagram showing all the parts that make up the tapping machine. And one of the important things, he gave some instructions on the disassembly, and one of the things he told us was really important was these bearing nuts are left-handed threads. And that was really good to know because, you know, we would, you know, do the righty-tighty, lefty-loosey thing. So that was really important. And he also gave us, once we have everything assembled, he gave us some good information on, you know, how to maintain it and lubricate it. So that was really helpful. Great company. Real quick, the part we're focusing on it's this main spindle part. And if we look at the diagram, let's see if I can make it as good as possible for Lance. Okay, so this is the tapping machine, and this is the main spindle right here. Okay, this part actually is this little piece right here. And what this controls, basically, I'll focus on this part now, Lance.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, there's two bearings that are pressed onto this, one on the bottom and one on the top. And then on the bearings are these two round cylinder things. And this is what controls the movement or the direction of the spindle. So this is the mechanism that controls the clockwise movement when you're pressing down on the lever. And then when you push up on the lever, it then reverts to reverse. And when we put this all together, we'll definitely show you how it works. And it's really interesting how it works. And this is really specialized for threading little tiny holes. I think 1 millimeter to 5 millimeter around there.
Oh gosh, we're going huge.
Yeah, really tiny. Okay, so where we're at was I disassembled all the parts, and as usual, I give all the parts to Lance. Lance goes over all the parts. He cleans everything, polishes anything that's necessary, and then he looks at the condition of the parts. He's looking for wear. If he notices any parts that are damaged or there's too much wear on the parts, we'll obviously contact the manufacturer if they're still in business. We'll reorder the parts, or sometimes the company no longer exists, so we have to manufacture the parts ourselves. Okay, in this case, Lance was inspecting the parts, and I mentioned that the two bearings get pressed on each side of this. Okay, and after the bearings are pressed, there's a bearing nut that gets screwed on. Okay, and that just although it's a press fit, they still put these bearing nuts, I guess, just to ensure that the bearings don't slip, after years of use, because the bearings are pressed on pretty tight. Okay, but what Lance noticed was left-handed threads. Okay, what Lance noticed is, and I'll put a picture of it on the screen, of the threads, a close-up. But Lance noticed that the threads are really weak. They're really shallow and just really weak threads. We don't understand why they made them so weak.
Oh, maybe you could turn that. Can you turn that one sideways just so I can show the viewers how thin it actually is? Just to get it right there. Right there. There you go. Yeah, see, it's a little thin. Go ahead.
Okay. And the thread problem is like that on both bearing nuts. So whatever they did it intentionally on both bearing nuts. And even they do fit, but see, they're too loose because the thread is really weak. See, they thread on, but too much. There's a lot of play, and Lance just wasn't happy with it, and he showed it to me, and I agree. So I went to go make new bearing nuts, but then I realized because they're left-handed threads, two things. It's a really unusual thread. The diameter of this bore is 14 millimeters, but the thread pitch is 0.5 millimeters. And that's a really fine pitch for the diameter of this. So we had to, use a special threading tool to make sure it fits in this diameter, but as well as capable of turning the really fine thread pitch. And it's left-handed thread, so we have to cut, we have to, in the lathe, we have to have the spindle turn reverse and cut from the left side. So what I did was I ordered a new threading tool, and here it is. As you can see, typically your cutting edge would be on this side, so it'd be a right-handed tool. But as you notice, see, it is on the left side. And it uses threading inserts, and it's small enough, to be used for this small bore. Got that, Lance?
I got it very well.
Great. Okay, so this actually just came in a few days ago. So today we can finally move forward and finally turn these nuts. Earlier today, the reason why the tool's on the holder is because I gave it a test run. I just grabbed a piece of test stock, and it actually produced, the tool's working great. I'm not sure if Lance can capture it, but it actually turned really nice threads. Got that, Lance?
That's the best I can get.
As best as you can. And just to test it, see, it's a perfect fit. So I was really happy about that. So with my little test, I confirmed that I can definitely manufacture these today. And the only change, I'm actually going to make a small minor change to the design. You'll notice that on the bearing nuts, there's these slots that are milled on each side. Okay, and these are for grabbing, like if you're using a spanner tool like this, you know, you can grab the nut like this and remove it. Okay, I prefer to actually have drilled holes, because that way, you know, the pins in the spanner tool fit in the holes, and there's no risk of these pins, you know, slipping out. Like here, you know, sometimes if they're really tight, the tool sometimes will tend to slip out of the notch or the slot. So that's the only change I'm going to make, is after I turn these bearing nuts, I'm just going to drill 2 holes, one on each side, and that'll allow us to use a spanner wrench. Okay. I'm going to actually I'm going to film on video the whole process of turning these for you. And I'll just do it really, you know, I'll do it fast motion, so you don't have to see the whole, you know.
Oh God, not another turning something on a lathe.
Exactly. So it'll be really quick, but it's fun to watch. I like watching it. And one of the things you'll notice, I just want to make a comment. You'll notice that I never disengage the half nuts when I'm doing the threading operation. And the reason for that is, unfortunately, once I start the threading operation, I have to leave those half nuts engaged throughout the whole process. So that means after I do one pass, I have to stop it, reverse the spin, you know, reverse the chuck, back it out, forward, reverse. It's a really slow pain in the butt process, but you know, after you get used to it, it goes pretty quick.
It's worth the high-speed vision of it.
Yeah, I mean, you really wish that. And the reason why we have to do that is you have to do that anytime you're cutting metric threads on imperial lathe or an inch lathe. So we really, in our case, we do a lot of metric work. So we really wish we could have purchased a metric lathe. But, you know, here in the U.S., you know, we're still imperial. So it's really difficult to find a metric lathe. So that's why. So I just thought I'd mention that, because you're going to notice that probably in the video. I think, is there anything else, Lance?
No, I think that ought to do it.
Okay. Yeah, so let's go ahead and start machining.
Well, let's go share some machining. Bye.
Bye.
we're out in the machine shop now to see Patrick. He's got a final update on the bearing nuts. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, guys. Yes, as you saw in the video, I was successful in machining these bearing nuts. But before I get into that, I just want to make a note. In regards to the camera view when I'm working on the lathe, we're very well aware that the view is not very optimal. We notice you're pretty far away as a viewer, and we recognize that in a few of our past videos. So we're actually currently working on a solution to try to get our camera above so we can get the view for you guys right above the work. And we're doing that just not only for the machining, but also for the educational videos, because we're going to be doing like a educational video on how to change bearings in a precision spindle. And just things like that. We really want to bring you, into the work better. So I just wanted to mention that because, we realize the view is not very good.
That's a good catch.
Yeah. Okay. As you can see, the bearing nuts look great. Just like I had mentioned prior to machining these,
oh, wow, I got to stop you. I can't believe it.
Uh-oh.
What? I was zooming in with this camera, and I saw it yesterday. I was going to mention it, and I did not, and I guess I should do it now. Hey, guys, if you've been following us a little bit, you'll notice Patrick's been caught in the machine shop wearing the white lab coat that belongs only in the workshop, the cleaner area. And today we see he's wearing this blue. I think he got tired of going to the dry cleaners. So he's got his blue machine shop coat on, and notice this, he's got his appropriate double collar, meaning he's got a collar-fine shirt underneath that to share with you, only because after the work hours, he mustn't leave with that coat. Okay, there's that.
But let me tell you, it really is important to wear this out here in the machine shop because it really does hide the oil. I should really taken a picture when I really messed up my fresh white lab coat. I was tapping and the machine just threw tapping oil all over my nice white perfect lab coat. So that was a big lesson, and Lance can't get over it.
Yeah, the line went right from the top of the coat to the bottom.
Yeah, so I learned my lesson.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, no problem. Okay, so these are the two bearing nuts, and after I machined them on the lathe, which you guys saw, I didn't film the process of drilling, and basically because it was really simple. I basically just marked the center punched the two holes, drilled them on the drill press, and they were done. Okay, but they didn't look this nice. I actually gave them to Lance, and Lance lapped them for me. And the reason why I had Lance lap them is because we wanted to be sure both surfaces are, completely deburr free. But we also want to be sure they're perfectly flat because, remember, these are bearing nuts. These are going to hold the bearing. Even though these are press fit, they still get torqued onto the bearing, and we didn't want any, obstruction. We didn't want any burrs or anything to where it press the bearing, off. Because this is really important that that the pulleys are perfectly, parallel. And that's why I brought a few parts. I realized in my last scene where prior to machining, I was kind of describing, what this part was, and I showed you the diagram. And I called, those two disc things. So I figured, okay, I'll bring the parts out and show you so you guys have a better picture of what I'm talking about. Okay, these were the discs I was talking about. Okay, and how this works is, okay, these are the pulleys. There's actually two of these. Okay, and so there's one pulley that goes on the top and then one goes on the bottom. Okay, and really quick, so the bearing first gets pressed into the pulley, and then once that's in, then this gets pressed on top of this. Okay, and how this works is, so the spindle gets inserted into this module. So this rotates with the spindle. Okay, but these pulleys, how this works, okay, so, got it, Lance?
I got you.
I want to make sure I'm not losing you. Okay, so just think of, there's two of these pulleys. Okay, so the belt comes around, it's turning this clockwise. Okay, then the belt, hits an idler pulley, comes around, and then turns this one counterclockwise. Okay, and these are floating, so these are spinning, the belt's moving, so you got the motor running, these are spinning, you know.
The spindle's steel, right?
Yeah, the spindle's still.
Yeah.
The spindle, exactly. The spindle's, you know, idle, but the pulleys are spinning. You know, this is clockwise, counterclockwise. Okay, and what happens is there's this. This is like a clutch plate or a clutch wedge, and how this works is this is tied into the handle that you pull down to tap, like a drill press handle. So what happens is, so this is spinning. Okay, this is also attached to the spindle. Okay, so this isn't moving at all. But when this comes down and hits the spinning pulley, all of a sudden, just like any clutch, once it wedges in, now it starts spinning. So now it's spinning with the pulley, which is spinning the spindle.
So the taps.
So your taps, you know, turning clockwise. Okay, so you're pulling down on the handle. This comes down, turning the spindle clockwise. Your tap's going into the workpiece. And then there's another one down here, remember. Now when you lift the handle up, this comes up, hits the pulley going counterclockwise, which forces now the spindle to reverse. So then that now pulls the tap out of the workpiece. So really unique. And you know, we're going to show when I have this fully assembled, which that's my goal for next week. We're going to demonstrate this fully working and, you know, fully operational, and we'll show you all the working pieces and how it works. It's really fun to watch. Did I miss anything, Lance?
No, you were perfectly on. Your spanner wrench. Did you want to show how nice it fits?
Yeah, thank you. Here, let me just put this on. Yeah, we were really happy. Actually, that's a good, I'm going to take a close-up of both of these threads so you kind of see the difference, the threads from the manufacturer. And the new threads.
Gee, I hope you'll be able to get a close-up. You know, that shine's really something on that new nut set there. I can't resist.
Yeah, I wonder who polished and lapped them. Yeah, if you remember on the last thing, I really don't like the slots because it's just too easy for the spanner wrench to slip out. See, now with these holes, spanner wrench goes right into the holes. See, now there's no risk of this slipping out.
It's just the way they should have been done.
Yeah, I really like this approach a lot better. And see, now we can tighten these and loosen them. It's just perfect. It's just much better, I think.
Great. Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you leave us one of those comments, maybe we have something we can answer. We will never leave a question unanswered. Thank you.